Hey everyone, it's Levi Salas from East Coast Sellers. Been getting a lot of requests from my last YouTube video. If you don't know me, I'm an ex-figure Amazon seller and now a full-time whatnot seller. And I truly believe live social shopping is the future. If you look at China, 60% of all online sales is done through live social shopping. It's like taking taxi when there's Uber. We're currently in discovery phase, and you know, all the data is showing that live social shopping is the future. It's going to grow 40% year over year. So if you're not on lives, if you're not selling somewhat online, eBay, um, TikTok, I believe Whatnot is the number one right now. They've been top three apps for the last 6 months. So you should be on Whatnot. If you're not incorporating live shopping into your business, you're going to be left behind. So now we're focused on Whatnot. Got a lot of requests, and so we're now here for a more detailed shipping video in the warehouse with boxes. We're going to show you how to ship correctly and save yourself money. There's a lot of people that lose money through the beginning, on your very first show, just because of shipping, just because they don't understand shipping, how to set up the shipping profiles. And in this video, I'm going to break it down from A to Z. You have to watch the entire video. Please do not lose money. Okay, so let's get started. This is a large flat rate box, and I highly recommend you just order a large flat rate box and a large shipping box. Do not worry about anything else. Why? Because if they buy one item and it lands in priority mail, they paid up to a 12 by 12 by 12 dimension, and it can be used in a flat rate box or a 12 by 12 by 8 large shipping box, right? Large shipping box, large flat rate boxes, 6 inches high. This is 8 inches high. You could use these two boxes, but this one is up to 70 pounds and this one's up to 5 pounds, 1 to 5 pounds. So this is a large shipping box, or any other shipping box that doesn't say flat rate on it can be 1 to 5 pounds. But I highly just recommend, it's much more efficient. Even if they buy one item and there's a lot of space in there, just send it in this box. Trust me, you save yourself time. I work with shippers. I work with a team. I have a full operation here. You know, 7 months in, we've done $800,000 in sales, and they just have to make one box. So when you only have to make one box, it's very, very efficient. So now let's break it down. So a large shipping box can be between 1 to 5 pounds. Now, there's an exception. If you go to your shipping settings on the Whatnot app, you can't do this on the laptop. I don't know why, but on the app, you choose priority mail for 1 to 5 pounds. Choose that. I highly recommend you do that, and choose priority mail for um anything over 5 pounds. Why? Save yourself a headache, especially if you're a beginner, because you can always downgrade to ground shipping or flat rate shipping, and we'll explain more of that in later in this video. Okay, so this is 1 to 5 pounds and can be over 5 pounds if they buy more than 5 pounds. But I highly recommend you put a max bundle size, and that is through a custom shipping profile. So, for example, let's grab anything. For example, um, a pair of headphones, right? Mind you, this right here is under 1 pound. For my electronics, we do 15 ounces. Well, now we actually changed our strategies because of the holidays. We want fast priority mail shipping for everybody, and we want better reviews, and people just love fast shipping. Even though we ship in 24 hours, but we wanted it to get even faster this time, especially for the holidays. So if you're watching this video right now in the month of December, you're in luck. Do this, trust me. I used to do 15 ounces per item. Now for the first item, watch this trick. Watch this trick. If you watch my last video, I said do 15 ounces and then, 5 max bundle, which will equal 75 ounces. And you can always just change it at the end. This is what you can do now. Make your first item 75 ounces, and every item after that, point one, every item after that, 1 ounce. Even though it doesn't weigh 1 ounce, but for example, if they only buy one item and that item is 3 pounds, you can put in this box or a 12 by 12 by 12 box and just ship it out. It's 4 pounds, even though it's 3 pounds. They overpaid by 1 pound, but technically they did it because it's still 921. It'll get to them faster, and you don't have to worry about any overcharges if USPS checks it. So for example, okay, now on my show, you'll see 921 up front, and the second item will be free. Before it used to be buy two, get the next three free shipping. How does that work? Okay, Before, when it was 15 ounces, that is still ground shipping. Priority mail shipping is between 1 to 5 pounds. You can't change this no matter what. You can't. Anything over 1 pound, under 1 pound is ground shipping. And trust me, I hate ground shipping and my customers do too. How do I know? Because I get better reviews because they're automatically put into priority mail shipping. I kind of force them to. But it pays off because they will see free shipping immediately once they buy one item. And you'd be surprised how many people just buy one item. I had 100 one item orders the other day. Imagine if those were all ground shipping. It would have taken forever for them to get their orders, and they would have blamed me. I wanted to prevent that. I don't want that, especially during the holidays. And people want their packages fast. I had a bad review talking about, I dropped it off on a Monday. It got delivered on a Friday. The show was on a Sunday. Got within 5 days of the show ending, and they blamed me. They said, slow shipping. I expected faster. What? They're all the way in Washington. I'm in New Jersey. How fast can I possibly get it to them? Imagine if it was ground shipping. I would have been cooked. So now, this, for example, they buy one item. Now, one item. This is 71 ounces. On the label, 71 ounces. Now, if I put five of these, five of them, all right, let's just put five, you know, this is a smaller box. This is a 12 by 12 by 12 by 12 by 8 box, but now check that out. I don't usually use this boxes like, for example, like stuff like this. I could just get all right, okay, boom, right, boom, uh, bam, bam. Pretend it fits, okay? It fits. I have other box dimensions when it doesn't fit in a priority mail box, but check this trick out. This box right here, right? Check this box out. It's a 12 by 12 by 8 dimension. Now, 4 more inches, right? 4 more inches, and it's a 12 by 12 by 12 box, right? Now what we do very commonly is you can only do this with a large shipping box. A large shipping box, okay? You cannot do this with a flat rate box. Why? Because a flat rate box cannot, no flat rate box can be a small, medium, padded, flat. It cannot be altered. A shipping box, priority mail shipping box can, as long as it doesn't say flat rate. We send boxes like this all the time. So what you can do is you can cut it down from the top so you can save on boxes, boxes are money we spend on average for it's 90 cents per box. That's 16 16 by 10 by 16 12 by 10. Yeah, that's the right dimension. I'm pretty sure that's the one. 16 or 18 12 by 10. I gotta find out. It's probably in the back. I'll get it later. Okay, so now this box right here, you can cut it down, make it 12 by 12 by 12, and then those five headphones will fit. But they only bought one. The label says 4 pounds priority mail, and I could just simply, I could simply just do that. Bam, close the box, slap the label, and it's ready to go out. Right? Do not. You could, if you want, if you want to do more work. I wouldn't recommend it. But you could put it in a large flat rate box and then toggle on the large flat rate box in the shipping settings. But then you have to do that for every single shipment, and it takes time to do that. And then you have to print the labels again. How do you do that? Okay, so if you want, I'll show you on my phone. One sec. So I'm showing you for my phone. It's much easier to do on your laptop. But you go to shipments. Check this out. Shipments. You go to you can choose any one you want, right? Like this is a show that we have going on right now. Right now he's at 35.89 in sales. And so these are some shipments that we get shipped out. But if you check this out, how many items people bought. Look, these are 8 item bundles, 6, for example. Okay. So if we go here, click on this. Before we generate the label, you go to edit shipping information, use flat rate box, and just choose a large one because that's the one I recommend you just order. No point in ordering smaller boxes. And then you update the label, and it won't charge you anything. It won't charge you anything, right? Why? Because it's the same box, right? Also, this is a downgrade from priority mail. Priority mail is the highest tier, then it's a large flat rate, then it's ground, then it's first class mail. First class mail is just an envelope, okay? So now, like I said, this box, large flat rate box, is a special box because you can ship up to 70 pounds in this box. for 921. So you can ship a bunch of liquids in here, or um, you can ship batteries that are pretty heavy, like a bunch of batteries in here. If you're only selling that, that's up to 75, up to 70 pounds for 921. This right here, a 12 by 12 by 12 box, can be 921 too, up to 1 to 5 pounds. But like I said, during the holidays, I recommend you just charge your customers upfront for the 921. How do I know it still works? I got 100 one item orders and they paid 921. Why? Don't ask me. I don't know why. At the end of the day, they're still getting steals. They're still paying under retail and whatnot. But resellers, on the other hand, resellers, they see free shipping immediately on the second item. Like I said before, my shipping profile was 15 ounces, so it wouldn't put them into priority mail until the second item. So the way that works, and I've tested this out before with my beauty category and the electronics category. So my beauty category, I used to do 8 ounces plus 8 ounces, right? So a bundle of 10 and be up to 80 ounces. So item bundle of 10 items in one box. I changed that now. I changed it. I just make it now. First item, 71 ounces. And then every item after that, 1 ounce, right? And then max bundle of 10. Max bundle of 10 instead of 8 plus 8, max bundle of 10. This will put them automatically if they buy one item in priority mail. And trust me, if it's a tiny item, even if it's tiny, we still ship in this box. Doesn't matter. That's the only box we ordered. Now for this used to be different. The first item will be ground. The second item will be priority mail, right? Because that's 16 ounces. Then the third item will be free shipping. Let me show you why. So the 8 ounces, first item, it's for every, anything between 1 to 16 ounces. The first item or 15 ounces will be like around $4.50 to around $7.50 for the first item, depending where they are, right? The first item. Then the second item, is between, $2.50 to yeah, dollar two is $1 to $3. $1 to $3, really. And so whatever, everybody's different. Everybody's different. It'll still add up to 921. That makes sense. They will always charge you more for the first item. So, it doesn't make a huge difference. It's like, some people will complain about it, but at the end of the day, people will see the value in your bundle and they'll see free shipping immediately on the second item. So they're more encouraged to stay into your show and continue to buy. Because most people just buy, for example, the 100 people that bought one item in my last show, they saw free shipping on their next item. Why didn't they buy another item? I'm not sure. But because it's not a huge difference, like I said, 450 to 750, it could be $7 for the first item and then $2.21 for the second item. But now they don't see that $2.21 anymore here. They just see 921. They just see 921 and they say 000 free shipping. That's for my beauty show. But I do the same thing with my electronics show too. I used to do 15 ounces and 15 ounces, and it still be the same. Still between five to $7.50, and the second item will be like $2-3. It's still 921. And so for $2-3 more that the customer pays, they were still gonna pay at the end of the day if they were gonna buy two items. So it just went from, they came to my show for that day like, I'm gonna buy two items. I usually just buy two items to support Levy or East Coast sellers. Now they're just gonna pay it up front because they know they're gonna get the second item. It's still the same thing. It's still 921 for the first two items if they, the way ever they think. As a beginner, I don't know if you should do that. This is a disclaimer. As a beginner, you could do what I used to do, like 8 plus 8, or 15 plus 15 for electronics, max bundle size of 5. But I don't know. As a beginner, protect your reviews. Charge the customer 921 upfront. Get priority mail, especially right now during the holidays. I don't think I'm going back, honestly. I don't think I'm going back because now I've also shifted the cost of poly mailers too. So poly mailers, we used to spend around 20 to 40 cents for, you know 20-40 cents per order. That was only one item order. And so it really, like, it didn't like freak me out, but we had 71 item orders and they kept telling me we have a lot of ground shipping. My shippers just didn't like ground shipping, just one item orders. And especially if they're buying, they spend this much on that item, $1. If they spend one item, $1, I'm in the red for that, you know, for that one item. And so now what we've done is, why spend polymailers? Why spend money on people that spent $1 on one item when we could just pass the cost over to them and focus on our, buyers are buying more than two items, or, save on, we'll pay for bigger boxes. We'll pay for that 12 by 12 by 12 dimension boxes, and put 90 cents. But they're most of the time, the people that are buying more than two items, they're filling up their bundles. They're maxing out their bundles, so it's worth the investment, investing that 90 cents. So that money is going to us. So, like I said, I don't think we're gonna change it. So if you're on my show and you're, East Coast sellers, like I said, you're most likely gonna end up paying 921 for the first item. So, what we also do, what I highly recommend as a beginner, is that you put an endpoint to your show. We always tell the customers, we're gonna do 500 items today. So if they show up at 400 items, and we put that in the description of the listing. If they show up at 400 items, the chances of them filling up their bundles, if it's, for example, beauty and it's 20 items, the chances of filling up 20 items out of 100 is very low, especially when there's 100 people in there. Just do the math. 100 times 20 is 2,000, items. We're not selling 2,000 items. We're only selling 500. And so if you showed up at 400, for you to buy 20 items, it's competitive. Whatnot is competitive, especially when it's sudden death. When it's sudden death, people want to fill up their bundles. People are like, we see a spike in pricing at the last 50 to 100 items of our show, because people are just like, they want to take advantage of that free shipping. Especially if, for example, if it's a 10 item bundle, divided by 921 is 92 cents per item. But now the shipping cost per item increases if they don't fill up that bundle. And so yeah, I mean, we found that the longer shows that we have, the more the sale prices increases, and it's because more people are buying into the show. That's that 921. They're buying into your show, and they're committed to continue buying, right? Because they see that free shipping. And so I found that it's very, very useful, to, I think there's more pros and cons to just charge the customer upfront the 921. It's the $2, $3 difference for the first item. You know, it doesn't matter what bundle size you're doing, unless you're doing, 4 ounces. You know, 4 ounces times four, so then doing 20 item bundles. But at the end of the day, like I said, there's only gonna buy one item. If they only buy one item, I want a customer that's gonna buy more than five. You know, I want a customer that's gonna stick around and continue buying in my show. Now, makes it predictable too. You don't have to worry about, okay, how much I pay for the second item. Is your bundle shipping? No, just pay once, and the next four are free. The next nine are free because you decide the max bundle size. And so, like I said, that's based off of your average size items. Your average size items. Okay, so if you're selling shirts, for example, you could definitely fit 10 in that box. So in a large flat rate box or a large shipping box. So if you found this video useful or have any questions, comment down below. Follow, like, subscribe. Follow me on East Coast Sellers. If you're never bought or whatnot, use my link down below. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching, I do that too. Apply down below too. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you on the next one.